Our top story, a wildfire is burning this morning south of Albuquerque. Lightning caused it last night. About 100 firefighters from Viguita and the BLM and State Forestry have been battling it. The fire is burning south of New Mexico Highway 60 and 47 in the Los Pinos Mountains. Viguita is handling part of it, as I mentioned. Lieutenant Mike Lane provided these pictures and all the information. He says no structures have burned. We will be monitoring this fire closely and keep you updated. APD Chief Gordon Eden told us the department had key video of the controversial shooting of James Boyd in the foothills.
Well, after that, he backtracked and refused to confirm that. And now this morning, we know this key video doesn't even exist. APD says it does not have any video or audio from Officer Keith Sandy, the one highlighted, the first officer to fire on James Boyd back in March there in the foothills. Well, that raises a lot of questions, says Joe Kennedy, the Boyd family's attorney.
It's a highly suspicious coincidence of all the video cameras out there that this one would malfunction. And all the other video cameras seem to be working fine.
We asked APD if the camera malfunctioned or if Officer Sandy turned it off at some point during the standoff. No one has gotten back to us with the answer to any of those questions or the answer to if Sandy will be disciplined. Now, a log shows Officer Sandy's camera was tagged into evidence, but Joe Kennedy says in an interview with police 2 days after the shooting, APD did not ask Sandy if he recorded any video on it. As you may know, Officer Sandy has a controversial past. He was hired by APD in 2007 after state police fired him for time card fraud. Now, as for the other officer who shot at James Boyd, this is Dominic Perez. He did record the shooting on his helmet cam. That's the video APD released after the shooting, and that's the one that sparked the outrage and you've probably seen all over the country. Well, this is the second time in weeks APD has told us it's been unable to recover video from a deadly shooting. In April, Officer Jeremy Deere shot and killed Mary Hawks, a suspected car thief, just 19 years old. Last month, APD confirmed there is no video from Officer Deere's lapel camera, but police still have not said whether Deere failed to turn that camera on.
Protesters against APD clash with the staff at the Hotel Albuquerque. Inside, Police Chief Gordon Eden was addressing a group of business leaders, telling the group that he took the chief job to try and reform the department. Now, this all went down yesterday. Protesters were demanding immediate changes and urged the chief to resign. Things got heated, apparently, when a member of the hotel staff allegedly pushed one person and knocked a cell phone out of the hand of another protester. The hotel is investigating the alleged incident. UNM Professor David Correa will be allowed to return to City Council, to the meetings, that is. He was banned from City Hall, but a judge has reviewed his case and ruled that Correa can return to City Council meetings, but he is not allowed at the mayor's office. Correa was one of 13 people arrested during last week's protest at the mayor's office. He pleaded not guilty to the felony charge of a battery on a peace officer for allegedly shoving a cop in the chest. A day after a massive $6 million settlement was reached against APD for a deadly shooting, the DA is offering up her side of the story.
District Attorney Carrie Brandenburg says the case she was given was flawed from the get-go, and what the judge in the civil case said is opposite of what she found.
I have to tell you honestly, I thought there was civil liability.
The civil judge found wrongdoing in the deadly shooting of Christopher Torres back in 2011, but Ms. Brandenburg says there's still not enough evidence to seek criminal charges against the officer who fired his weapon. Judge Shannon Bacon rejected claims that the two officers were acting in self-defense.
I have no reason not to believe that, given all of the facts of the case and given the law.
Officers Richard Hilger and Chris Brown there claim Torres resisted arrest, and during a struggle, he reached for Hilger's gun. That's when Brown shot him 3 times in the back in his own backyard. In the civil case, eyewitness testimony contradicted that story. But Ms. Brandenburg says in the case she was given to review, the officer's statements were consistent with other evidence, and that's what she had to rely on. She says the judge was allowed to hear her new testimony from all parties, and eyewitness statements were inconsistent. If new evidence arises supporting a criminal conviction from the civil case, Ms. Brandenburg says that she will consider reviewing it.
New Mexico water systems could go through a major change if our 2 U.S. senators get their way. Senators Tom Udall and Martin Heinrich are introducing a bill today that would allow the U.S. to buy water from farmers. This could keep water in the rivers, helping fish and avoiding environmental fights. And it could help farmers, but letting dams and water agencies store water from the summer rains and release it periodically throughout the year. That's the goal.
Well, New Mexico is being called a wild card in the race to win Tesla's $5 billion gigafactory. Not sure this is the best news this morning. According to the Reno Gazette-Journal, John Boyd, the site selection expert, he helps businesses find the best place to build. He says a case can be made for both New Mexico and Arizona as possible Tesla sites. New Mexico's appeal is our space industry because Tesla's CEO also builds spacecrafts. Boyd thinks the two leading contenders may be Reno and San Antonio. New Mexico is one of 5 states in the running. A decision isn't expected until the end of this year. Meanwhile, Tesla's owner, Elon Musk, is now showing off what could be the spaceship of the future at the museum in Washington, D.C. It's from Musk's company called SpaceX, which has a contract to launch rockets from Spaceport America and TRC. Yesterday, Musk showed off the Dragon V2 to Congress, including New Mexico Senator Martin Heinrich. Mr. Musk hopes one day it'll carry astronauts and scientists into outer space.
Some hungry little bugs are making a big stink in New Mexico, but it's not because of how they smell. They are called stink bugs, but the issue is that they are chomping on organic vegetables and sucking the nutrients out. Bok choy, mustard greens, cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli are all food for them. Well, now the New Mexico State University is trying to do something that hasn't been done before, find an environmentally friendly way to take care of the stink bugs. The school says farmers should right now physically cover their crops to keep these stinky bugs away.
I was reading about this morning. One thing they may be trying to do is find a plant that attracts the stink bugs and then kind of capture all of them there to keep them away from the vegetables and the crops that they really want to produce. But it's one idea that they're working on, and they just want an environmentally friendly way to take care of the bugs.